Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. Close combat is not just about strength. Desert Wind City Lord suddenly pulled out two short spears from behind, and his towering body, rising trillions of kilometers high, merged into the desert wind, instantly rushing towards Luo Feng. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. As the wind howled, the figure of Desert Wind City Lord instantly appeared all around Luo Feng, with the phantom of the short spears stabbing at him repeatedly. Luo Feng stood still, coldly watching the scene unfold. Thump thump thump. As the short spears hit Luo Feng's body, a black liquid immediately tried to entangle the spears, but could not restrain them, given the immense strength of Desert Wind City Lord. Not a drop of blood shed. Desert Wind City Lord was quite astonished. What kind of body refining method does he possess? A blood shadow knife suddenly appeared in Luo Feng's hands. The blood shadow knife, now far more formidable, possessed the potential to grow into an ultimate realm weapon of Godly King. Heavy and incomparably sharp, Luo Feng abruptly slashed out with it, and Desert Wind City Lord met the blow with his pair of short spears, withstanding the attack. Boom. The massive collision of their weapons caused shockwaves that swept across billions of kilometers in all directions. Their enormous size meant that every movement they made was cataclysmic, easily reducing large city fortresses to dust. Such power even caused the nearby watchers from the pinnacle of Primal Chaos Realm to tremble. Transcendence of Primal Chaos Realm and the pinnacle of Primal Chaos Realm, the gap is too big, thought those from the pinnacle of Primal Chaos Realm. They could obliterate a large city if they exerted all their strength. But their power paled in comparison to these two titans before them. Luo Feng and Desert Wind City Lord both stopped, each knowing that they could not overcome the other. Luo He, your strength is not inferior to mine, boomed the voice of Desert Wind City Lord like thunder, but you should understand that in this competition for the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl, our biggest rival is Great Saint Baiyun. Luo Feng understood this as well. Great Saint Baiyun and Desert Wind City Lord were both prominent figures in the transcendence of Primal Chaos Realm. Yet when it came to competing for the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl, Great Saint Baiyun was indeed more adept. Luo Feng had not even sensed Great Saint Baiyun's presence until now. Luo He, do you think this will lock down Blood Spirit Star? Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. Whoosh! A grey figure, ignoring Luo Feng's encasing black liquid, appeared out of nowhere within Blood Spirit Star. Blood Spirit Star flared up with flames as the grey figure stood amidst them, leisurely surveying the surroundings. Luo He, your strength is not enough to lock down Blood Spirit Star, said the cold voice of Great Saint Baiyun as Luo Feng's black liquid shrouding Blood Spirit Star shattered in an instant. Luo Feng felt the space where the black liquid was completely tear apart, naturally causing the black liquid to fracture. Just the Black Abyss transformation method indeed can't stop her, Luo Feng mused after a preliminary clash with Great Saint Baiyun, realizing her terror. The horrifying sharpness of her attack made Luo Feng marvel. Great Saint Baiyun's body was ordinary, far weaker than Luo Feng or Desert Wind City Lord. However, her destructive power, seemingly able to cleave through heaven and earth, surpassed even theirs. Great Saint Baiyun is indeed formidable, laughed the grey figure standing on the surface of Blood Spirit Star. Luo Feng, Great Saint Baiyun, and Desert Wind City Lord also paid great attention to this grey figure, Great Saint Yang Su. In terms of head-on combat power, Great Saint Yang Su indeed fell short of the three of them. However, being adept at the origin Tao of space, he naturally excelled during the scramble for the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl, and had also mastered the clone technique. Lord of Yuan Xiao Mansion, observing from afar, watched this scene. For a heavenly task of Emperor Chu's lineage summoning 7 first-rank lords, such powerful figures have been drawn. I'll just stay far away, and grab whatever I can. Among those present from the transcendence of Primal Chaos Realm, Lord of Yuan Xiao Mansion was best at trapping and imprisoning enemies. Luo Feng and Desert Wind City Lord had bodies too formidable to be dragged into it. On the other hand, the physically weaker Great Saint Baiyun and Great Saint Yang Su, once targeted, they could easily be captured into the Dark Mansion, Of course, Great Saint Bayun always concealed herself well, making her hard to track. Even if imprisoned, with her terrifying destructive power, she could break out of the Dark Mansion prison. As for Great Saint Yangsu, with his clone technique, imprisoning one of his avatars allowed him to quickly destroy it and cultivate another. Clashing with him would be troublesome. I'll do my best, thought the Lord of Yuan Xiu Mansion, not willing to risk it all. Luo Feng looked at the blood spirit star before him and also felt a headache coming on. Two beings of his level were present, Desert Wind City Lord and Great Saint Bayun. The slightly weaker Great Saint Yangsu, adept at space, along with the far-removed Lord of Yuan Xiu Mansion. Saw the novel_fire.et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Buzz. Blood spirit star naturally formed within the universe, with a solid core, a liquid middle layer, and outer layers of blood-colored flames. Furthermore, the ancient godly kings of Flame Wind ancient country had long ago arranged formations within the core of blood spirit star to better absorb the forces of heaven and earth, allowing it to produce more blood spirit golden pearls. In fact, all locations in Land of Origin where treasures are nurtured are owned by someone. They would arrange formations, protect the treasure locations, and even nurture them. It's only in these treasure locations along the border of the two ancient countries that the strong between them are allowed by mutual consent to contest for dominion, whoever is stronger takes possession. But there is one rule: they are forbidden from destroying these locations. These locations can continuously bring forth treasures. The struggle for these treasures is up to individual prowess. However, intentionally destroying a treasure location is a taboo. Both ancient countries severely punish such actions. Even a standard treasure location might produce treasures worth thousands of merit points every century, but what about over millennia? That amounts to accumulatively millions of merit points worth of treasures. One can only imagine the value of a treasure location. Of course, these locations are all protected by formations set by godly kings, and they are not easy to destroy. Let's grab as much as possible, Luo Feng thought immediately, as a vast silvery river began to spread out. Galaxy transformation method. Endless silver rivers floated around, gathering and dispersing unpredictably, sweeping around the blood spirit star. As long as the blood spirit golden pearl actively erupted into the silver river, and became bound by it, no other power could steal it again. Having observed this, the City Lord of Desert Wind's expression changed slightly, as he exerted his Desert Wind domain to suppress it. Boom! Tens of billions of units of the galaxy transformation method surged powerfully, clashing fiercely with the Desert Wind domain and proving to be a notch stronger. This was Luo Feng's last resort, using such a wide-reaching domain technique like the galaxy transformation method to compete for the blood spirit golden pearl. The galaxy transformation method, unpredictable and fast as lightning, was best suited for long-range execution. This Luo he has this trick up his sleeve. The City Lord of Desert Wind realized the trouble. His Desert Wind domain, though permeating everywhere, indeed suited for snatching treasures. In terms of flexibility, changes, and penetration, the galaxy transformation method was slightly inferior to the Desert Wind domain. However, the galaxy held more power, completely dominating the area it covered over the Desert Wind domain. Great Saint Luo, his domain technique is indeed quite extraordinary, remarked a grey shadow standing on the surface of Blood Spirit Star with a smile. No sooner had he spoken. The vast galaxy seemed to freeze, slowing down significantly in its movements. Luo Feng's face changed slightly, he felt the space solidifying, heavily binding his galaxy transformation method. Although he could still move forcibly through the sheer force, the speed was only 10 to 20% of the original. Do not take offense, laughed Great Saint Yangsu, your domain technique was too powerful. I had to suppress it a bit. Fine, Luo Feng looked at him. Just then, boom .. During the eruption period of Blood Spirit Star, amongst the liquid flames it spewed out, 10 blood spirit golden pearls burst forth in an instant. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. With sharpness that could slice heaven and earth, 2 small realms were instantly cut off, carrying 3 blood spirit golden pearls between them, and were swept away into the void. Luo Feng's galaxy domain spread far and wide, close to these blood spirit golden pearls, immediately joining the competition. Buzz. Space seemed to freeze, the degree of imprisonment immediately soaring, making Luo Feng's galaxy transformation method move even slower. Damn it. Luo Feng growled in annoyance. Huff, huff, huff. The City Lord of Desert Wind, Great Saint Jiangsu, and Luo Feng all made quick moves. The Desert Wind City Lord's wind howled, sweeping away 2 blood spirit golden pearls. Great Saint Jiangsu teleported to snatch 2 blood spirit golden pearls. Even though Luo Feng's galaxy transformation method held the terrain advantage, completely enveloping blood spirit star, he could only manage to wrap around 2 blood spirit golden pearls due to the slow movement. Even the Lord of Yuan Xiu Mansion, who stayed far away, took the opportunity to collect 1 blood spirit golden pearl using the Dark Mansion prison. Yangsu, Luo Feng looked at Great Saint Yangsu. Had it not been for Yangsu's spatial imprisonment, with the advantage of the galaxy transformation method, he might have doubled his share of the blood spirit golden pearls. Great Saint Yangsu just smiled. Great Saint Yangsu, Luo Feng immediately transmitted a message, 5 beings at the transcendence of primal chaos realm competing, and you target just me. Just stop obstructing me. Once this eruption ends, I'll give you 3 blood spirit golden pearls. Ha ha. Competing for blood spirit golden pearls is all about skill, General Yang Su said, smiling amiably at Luo Feng. Luo Feng could sense that the other party was somewhat targeting him. Spatial imprisonment could bind the galaxy transformation method, and could similarly bind the desert wind domain. Yet General Yang Su was going all out just against him. Very well, it's all about skill, Luo Feng gave him a cold glance, saying no more. Time passed. This wave of blood spirit golden pearls eruption lasted about 3 days. Great Saint Baiyun, who hadn't appeared from the beginning to the end, nonetheless cut away the most, exactly 25 blood spirit golden pearls. Desert Wind City Lord, by dint of his desert wind domain permeating everywhere, also snatched 12 blood spirit golden pearls. Although Luo Feng's galaxy transformation method covered all directions, under Great Saint Yangsu's spatial imprisonment, he managed only 9 blood spirit golden pearls. Great Saint Yangsu himself took away 8 blood spirit golden pearls. The always distant Lord of Yuan Xiu Mansion, taking advantage of the conflict, also managed to pick up 3 blood spirit golden pearls. Great Saint Yangsu targeting Great Saint Luo He time and again, is there a grudge? Great Saint Yangsu's spatial imprisonment can easily bind both Great Saint Luo He and the City Lord of Desert Wind simultaneously. In that case, the restraint on Great Saint Luo He would be much weaker, potentially getting 2 or 3 more blood spirit golden pearls. The City Lord of Desert Wind would also get fewer. Yang Su has made an enemy of Luo He this time. What does it matter? Great Saint Yang Su, with his clone technique, is much tougher to deal with than average transcendence of the primal chaos realm. Let alone transcendence of the primal chaos realm, even beings at the godly king stage rarely possess clones. These beings at the pinnacle of primal chaos realm, who had been watching from afar, observed the whole process, chatting casually while they started to leave. After observing the first wave of competition, their desire to compete had already diminished. Ha ha ha. The City Lord of Desert Wind stood beneath Blood Spirit Star, looking around, his voice booming through the sky and earth. I acquired a total of 12 Blood Spirit Golden Pearls. I'm willing to sell these to you starting at 100 billion cosmic sand each. The highest bidder takes them. Luo Feng, Great Saint Baiyun, the Lord of Yuan Xiu Mansion, Great Saint Yangsu, and some who were about to leave who were at the pinnacle of the primal chaos realm, all heard this news. Starting at 100 billion cosmic sand each. Has he gone mad? Even Baiyun, the wealthiest among those present, thought the price was outrageous. City Lord of Huang Feng watched the figures in the distance, waiting patiently. 1 blood spirit golden pearl for 10 billion cosmic sand. No one will agree to that, the Marquis Mansion's Lord Yuan Xiu said with a smile. 10 billion cosmic sand each. I'd be willing to buy a few, a voice came from afar, spoken by a pinnacle of primal chaos realm. Seeing this, the city lord of Huang Feng was quite disappointed. This price can't sell it. Luo Feng, seeing this, was somewhat speechless. Blood Spirit Golden Pearl task was backed by the competition among the 7 first-rank Marquis of Emperor Chu's lineage, who also had various expenditures. Managing to take out several 100 billion cosmic sand was already quite impressive. To exhaust all wealth and buy only 3 to 5 pearls. Keep in mind that Great Saint Baiyun had obtained a total of 25 pearls in the first wave of the battle. Even buying 3 to 5 pearls, the impact was too trivial. Transcendence of Primal Chaos Realm, they are summoned by first-rank Marquis, Luo Feng mused. In the end, it still comes down to the first-rank Marquis making the bids. They can't afford it. In terms of treasure accumulation, the Transcendence of Primal Chaos Realm naturally far surpassed the first-rank Marquis. But this was ultimately the Marquis' task, and Transcendence of the Primal Chaos Realm wouldn't spend their own wealth. Figures like Luo Feng, Great Saint Baiyun, and Lord Yuan Xiu were helping due to their relationships. They didn't even ask for benefits for this task. Then, I will lower the price a bit, 80 billion cosmic sand each. City Lord of Huang Feng, seeing that he couldn't sell, finally lowered the price. But no one present was willing to make a bid. Still too high. 60 billion cosmic sand each, my lowest price. City Lord of Huang Feng's voice deepened. Then he smiled. It seems there are some who know the goods. This time Blood Spirit Golden Pearls have all been traded. Want to buy? Wait for the next contention. After saying this, the City Lord of Huang Feng had already transformed into a desert wind, disappearing between heaven and earth. This scene surprised Luo Feng, Lord Yuan Xiu, and others. Sold it. Who did he sell it to among the first-rank Marquis? Could it be that he pretended to have sold it? Blood Spirit Golden Pearl must be delivered to Chu capital within 10 days to complete the task. If over 10 days, they will turn into Blood Spirit Poison Pearls. Keeping them has no use, no need to pretend to have sold them. The Transcendents and Pinnacles of Primal Chaos Realm present all had various speculations, and then they began to leave. When Luo Feng left, he glanced at Great Saint Yang Su in the distance. Humph! Great Saint Yang Su watched Luo Feng with a smirk that was not quite a smile. It's aimed at you, what of it? In the land of origin, most ancient powerhouses are rule-abiding in their dealings. They do not make enemies lightly, given that they have many concerns too, unless it involves opportunities related to the great laws, when they may act recklessly at all costs. Yet, there are a few powerhouses with no clan or many disciples or subordinates who act without restraint. Great Saint Yang Su is one such figure who acts without restraint. Of course, in terms of sins, there are many in the land of origin with greater sins than his. Great Saint Yang Su is just more willful and cruelly ruthless in his deeds, but he does not engage in large-scale slaughters. In terms of notorious reputation, he is far less than the ancestral god of the Snow Realm, and even less than the master of the Sha Kingdom, who exterminated multiple divine kingdoms. Luo Feng hurried back to Chu capital at the first opportunity, as the Blood Spirit Star, after its eruption, would need to wait a long time before entering the next wave of eruptions. One era, totaling only 2 to 3 waves of eruptions. Phew. Luo Feng arrived at Marquis' mansion of Chu Yu. Brother Luo He, the divine power incarnation of Marquis Chu Yu, came to greet Luo Feng. My true body is currently on a mission. This heavenly task has 3 subtasks. The Blood Spirit Golden Pearl task is just one of them. Your own task is of even greater importance, Luo Feng said, as he took out the 9 Blood Spirit Golden Pearls. The first wave of the Blood Spirit Star's eruption just happened, and I managed to obtain 9 Blood Spirit Golden Pearls. I heard Lord Yuan Xiu only got 3. Marquis Chu Yu received the detailed information right away. After all, several Transcendents of Primal Chaos had clashed, and some Pinnacles of Primal Chaos had watched. Information traveled fastest to Flame Wind Pavilion. That Great Saint Yang Su is somewhat strange, Luo Feng said. I don't know him at all, but this time, he went all out exclusively against me. Brother Chu Yu, does he have a grudge against you? No. Marquis Chu Yu shook his head continuously. I am just a newly promoted first-rank Marquis. Before this, I was merely an eternal true god. How could I possibly have made an enemy of a transcendent of the primal chaos realm, great Saint Yang Su? Luo Feng nodded slightly. It's good then that you and he have no enmity. It seems, it was because of me, Luo Feng said. Brother Luo He, just do your best in contending for the blood spirit golden pearls. Don't force it, Marquis Chuyu laughed. After all, I am the youngest among the 7 first-rank Marquis, and a freshly advanced one at that. It doesn't matter much if my ranking is low. Luo Feng looked at him. Regardless, you need to strive hard in your own 2 subtasks. Of course, Marquis Chuyu nodded. I'm off. Luo Feng turned and left. Since he had taken on the blood spirit golden pearl task, he would naturally take it seriously. Phew. Marquis Chuyu watched Luo Feng leaving. The temperament of brother Luo He, Marquis Chuyu had understood Luo Feng's temperament while in Huyang City, a personality that greatly values righteousness. My first guest elder's position, I will invite brother Luo He. It was my luckiest decision. Marquis Chuyu felt quite fortunate at this moment. Luo Feng left the Marquis mansion of Chuyu, and also bought a sufficiently detailed report on Great Saint Yang Su through Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. Phew. As he set out on his return journey, Luo Feng was also studying the intelligence on Great Saint Yang Su. We are strangers, yet he targets me so specifically, Luo Feng muttered as he carefully analyzed the information. He didn't believe in hostility without reason. At the level of transcendence of the primal chaos realm, one would not make enemies lightly. Great Saint Yang Su's clone technique. Luo Feng looked at the record in the intelligence, feeling somewhat headache. The clone technique practiced by Great Saint Yang Su allowed him to possess 2 complete avatars and 7 weaker ones. The complete avatars maintained peak condition in both godly body and soul. His technique gives him an advantage over my 8 tribulations life form clone technique, Luo Feng quietly reflected. Although they are both called clone techniques, the differences were significant. In the level 8 life form from the lineage of life spirituality, if the clone technique was practiced, one's own power must have sufficient life spirituality to exist independently. By parting a portion of one's divine power, an avatar could be formed. Even hundreds or thousands of avatars were a simple matter. But the power of all avatars, when combined, was only the complete whole. Every avatar created weakened oneself. The clone technique of the lineage of life spirituality, the power still remains one complete whole, not a bit more, Luo Feng thought. However, Great Saint Yang Su's clone technique results in an extra complete avatar, on top of the original true body. It's as if his divine power has doubled. And has cultivated an additional soul. Apart from the complete avatars, he also has 7 weaker avatars. Luo Feng silently marveled. Of course, he was still very content, for most of the 9 origin great Daos under the supreme rules cannot practice clone techniques. Saw the Novelia.ne*t website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. In terms of clone techniques, surpassing the great Dao of life origin, according to Luo Feng's knowledge, only the time primordial Dao and the origin Dao of space were capable. The time primordial Dao, it is said, could cultivate avatars that existed independently in the past, present, and future. Naturally mysterious and immensely powerful. The origin Dao of space could break certain restrictions of the braided cage, possessing several complete avatars. Having 2 complete avatars, like Great Saint Yang Su, was merely considered a beginner level. Yang Su is currently tasked with garrisoning the border city Xiangjie City, and he must have 1 complete avatar there, Luo Feng thought. The ones participating in the struggle for the blood spirit golden pearls must be another complete avatar, and possibly several weaker avatars. The more Luo Feng understood Yang Su, the more he realized he was helpless against him. Yang Su had some servants and 2 disciples, and he did not care about the life and death of his disciples. His disciples had died more than once. For Yang Su, only cultivation was the most important thing, nothing else mattered. The city lord of Desert Wind City came alone to a dark forest. I didn't expect that I couldn't sell even 1 blood spirit golden pearl, sighed the city lord of Desert Wind. I told you, I am willing to buy all of them for 30 billion cosmic sand each, which is already a high price, said a figure formed from the invisible forces of heaven and earth, smiling at the City Lord of Desert Wind. The City Lord of Desert Wind nodded, and with a wave of his hand, he took out the 12 blood spirit golden pearls he had acquired. Here you go, the City Lord of Desert Wind handed them all to the other party. Old rules: within the time limit of the blood spirit golden pearl mission, no matter how many blood spirit golden pearls you get, I will buy them all at the price of 30 billion cosmic sand each, said the ethereal figure with a smile. The City Lord of Desert Wind's participation in the struggle was at his request. The City Lord of Desert Wind's external sale of the blood spirit golden pearls was allowed, but they had to be sold at double the price. Thus, the City Lord of Desert Wind had to sell them for at least 60 billion cosmic sand each. Just as this ancient existence had expected, he couldn't sell them at all. The imperial clan and nobles of the Flame Wind ancient country are too stingy, the City Lord of Desert Wind lamented, having openly set his price, but unable to sell even one. I have been very generous, said the ethereal figure with a laugh, and then vanished silently. The City Lord of Desert Wind watched this scene. This old fellow, no idea who he is, the City Lord of Desert Wind muttered to himself, and then traversed the void to leave. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng returned to the cave mansion not far from Blood Spirit Star, his divine power incarnation still quietly cultivating in the pavilion to keep an eye on Blood Spirit Star, while Luo Feng's true body was practicing in the space of the Star Tower. 3-in-1 form, with my level of understanding, it's indeed very challenging. Luo Feng watched the dispersal of the particles of the 3-in-1 form and the 10-directional world form in front of him, revealing the laws, feeling still puzzled. Considering the accumulation, both the lineage of life spirituality and the body of life lineage were at the pinnacle of primal chaos realm. To go higher, that would be to become a godly king. He also had materials from the golden scale beetle and various perfect primal chaos layer creatures for reference. Despite such deep accumulation, he still had confusions. This competition for the blood spirit golden pearls also pointed out many of my weaknesses, Luo Feng admitted. In terms of strength, the City Lord of Desert Wind was comparable to him. In terms of various moves, Great Saint Baiyun was clearly superior. He couldn't even be sure of Great Saint Baiyun's true body, yet Baiyun could strike easily. With such strength, in the second wave of the blood spirit golden pearl struggle, I still won't get much. Luo Feng smiled slightly, taking out a stone box. He opened the box, which still contained 9 pale red fruits. At the level of primal chaos realm, I had planned to consume 5 primordial crystal spirit fruits. Now at this crucial time, Luo Feng immediately took out 1 primordial crystal spirit fruit and closed the box. Cultivation was at a bottleneck, and his friend's task was also at a crucial point, so it was essential to use good steel on the blade's edge. Luo Feng felt that now was indeed the time to strike. Luo Feng then began to eat the fruit. The fruit was tough, he chewed and swallowed it bit by bit, feeling the pulp dissolve in his stomach, with energy starting to spread and affect his soul, making his soul more ethereal and his thoughts speed up rapidly. This video will end here.